So, we know that Esteban Ocon is going to Haas next year. The American team are getting a new couple of drivers, a complete change from Hülkenberg and Magnussen going to Ocon and Behrman. And Ocon seems a little bit more open now to discuss why things didn't really work out at Alpine and why Alpine's Formula 1 dream has collapsed. Many reasons behind this apparently. Full article on the F1 Chronicle as always, guys. Let's have a look at what's been said here. Esteban Ocon insists he doesn't want to make headlines by offering his real opinion about Alpine's decline in Formula 1. But the French driver, who is switching to the American outfit Haas for 25 and beyond, admits that the way both his career with Renault's works team is ending and the end of the Marquis F1 engine program is sad. The 28-year-old sole Grand Prix win came at the wheel of an Alpine in 2021, but since then his relationship with the team and the team's performance have been on a steady decline. There are many factors for the downturn, Ocon told Automotor und Sport. When asked to expand, he answered, "I have a few explanations, but I prefer to keep them to myself. I don't want to make headlines here." Ocon infuriated team management with his crash against teammate Pierre Gasly in Monaco, but he insists that's not the only reason for his exit at the end of the year. "It was already clear to me before that," he said. "We already had discussions with other teams. This even started during the 2023 season. Of course, you are always open to anything, but for me it was relatively clear that I was looking for a new challenge." Like Carlos Sainz, Audi was reported as an option for 2025 for Ocon, but the parties did not shake hands. "I don't want to get into detail about that," Ocon insists. "We talked several times. In the end, what convinced me most was that Io Komatsu is leading the team. He is a seasoned race engineer who knows exactly what he's talking about. Haas currently employs 300 people," Ocon added, "but they achieve more than teams with 1,500 people, and there are big investments in the future that will affect performance. The team has clear goals and I want to be part of that. I have already been to the factory and seen the passion with everybody that everybody works with there. I've missed that feeling," he admitted. Some might surmise that Ocon is ruining his long tenure with Renault and Alpine, especially as he actually beat Max Verstappen to the F3 title in 2014. Yeah, he did actually, that's true. A long time ago, but he did do that. He's a good driver, is Ocon, at least he was anyway. For me, he's still got to prove himself again after what he did against Gasly, but I've already done a video on that at the time. You guys can check it out if you haven't already. That was a really popular one. People enjoyed my rant about that one. You must not give up hope, he says now. Drivers like Jenson Button show that there can suddenly be a chance if you keep working hard and improving and exploit a gap in the regulations and pull off an absolute blinder. But it can happen to any team. 26 is a big opportunity for a lot of teams, Haas included. "Last year I fought on equal terms with McLarens in many races, and now they are fighting for the championship. Anything can happen." I mean, McLaren did beat them pretty convincingly in the Constructors last year, but I know what he means. There were some races where they were around the same kind of part of the track. Unfortunately for Ocon, he has struggled to shake off a reputation in the paddock for being selfish, often unfriendly and hard to work with, especially when it comes to teammates. "I think people have the wrong image of me," he responds. "After an event, I once spoke to a young journalist for 5 minutes, and afterwards he said, 'You know, Esteban, I didn't really like you before, but after our conversation I really..." Did he really say that? Would anybody actually say that? I wouldn't admit that. If I actually met, I've never met him, but if I actually met Ocon in person, I wouldn't say, "You know what, I thought you were a bit of an a-hole before, but now you're actually alright." I wouldn't say that, but maybe this person did say it. I found that very interesting. People out there can get an image of you that doesn't correspond to reality at all. I mean, that's fair enough. That's a fair statement. As for his regular clashes with teammates, Ocon insists that no team has lost places in the championship because of it. I mean, there were a few at Force India, but alright, let's not get on that train. But this year at Alpine, he openly admits that he is dealing with a declining situation. He says, "It hasn't been fun. When I signed in 2020, I had high expectations. There was also big promises, but they didn't become reality in those 5 years." He said, "It's not easy for a driver when you put so much into it and suddenly find yourself at the back." And when he realised in 2024 that the car would be a backmarker, Ocon says he made the decision to look elsewhere early on. "It's really sad to see where we are now," Ocon admitted. "Alpine comes from Normandy like me. I was always proud to wear the logo. It's It's really sad to see where they are now. The brand deserves more. We give everything, but it's not enough. 5 years with one team is a long time in Formula 1, he said. We had a good and bad moments. It was simply time to try somewhere else. So, yeah, interesting piece there for sure. I mean, he's really. I mean, you're gonna, you know, back yourself. You're gonna give yourself the best opportunity, and you're gonna also kind of skew the facts and stuff a little bit, which he's done there. Let's be honest, guys. He's really skirting around some of the burning questions. Really, there. I don't think he's answered them totally truthfully. I wouldn't agree with some of his answers there, but it's interesting him saying things like, "Oh yeah, Haas have got like 200 people or whatever, or 300 people. They're achieving more than teams of 1,500 people." That is a direct reference to Alpine there, without a doubt. Who else on the grid has a team of that size that is underachieving that much? There isn't anybody. Not even Williams are that big in terms of their overall, you know, their payroll, their staff force, as it were. I mean, I feel like Ocon could do well at Haas, but if you're asking me now, what's it going to be like for him next year? I think he's going to get his behind handed to him basically when it comes to Ollie Behrman. And the thing as well with teammates, you know, not all those clashes were Ocon's fault. You know, some of them were Perez's fault, some of them were 50-50, some of them were, who else has he been teammates with now? I can't remember off the top of my head, but you know, there's been a few where it's been a bit contentious, but if he's always putting himself in that position, it's always going to be, you know, there's going to be incidents happening, and at the end of the day, the team just looks at the fact that it's an opportunity wasted. And the most recent one, the Gasly one in Monaco, that was 100% Ocon's fault. There's no doubt about it. When your own team is calling you out, it's not good. It's not good. So, for me, Ocon has still yet to prove himself. He's had some great drives over the years. He had some good performances for Renault, had some good performances for Alpine, and for Force India as well back in the day. But when it comes to his results and how he's going to perform at Haas, I think he's going to have a really hard time against Behrman. Behrman's a superb talent. But with Alpine, they generally, unfortunately, and I've heard this from a few different people that shall not be named, but I've heard that basically Alpine are trying to do F1 on a very tight budget, trying to do it as cheaply as possible. I mean, listen to the interview that Otmar Schaffner, the former team principal of Alpine, did with High Performance. I've listened to it. It's a fascinating listen, and it really shows why they fail. It really should. The organisational structure, the bureaucracy, the backstabbing, the drama. It really is not a surprise that this outfit is completely failing in Formula 1 and will continue to do so unless things change. But they won't change because they're very stuck in their ways and they're very stubborn, unfortunately. Maybe, incredibly, maybe Flavio Briatore is the man to save Alpine. It'll take somebody of his clout, somebody with his influence, his experience to turn around this team. Of course, in equal measure, he is also the person that destroyed Renault in Formula 1 in the first place back with Crashgate. Now, of course, I've already done a full video about that. Check it out if you haven't already. But, you know, it has the potential to destroy it or make it anew. But I think personally, I think they're going to sell. I really do see them selling to Andretti. But there's been some news about Andretti recently as well with their owner. I've got another video that should be out at the same time as this one if you're on Microsoft, going over that about Michael Andretti and why he's stepping down. So check that out if you haven't already. Bit of a longer one here, guys. I've got some strong opinions on Alpine and Ocon as well. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think Ocon will do well at Haas, or do you think it'll be his final move in Formula 1 before he ends up leaving? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed, tune in, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Ring the bell as well. And we'll see you very soon, guys. Have a good one.